All right, so we're going to pick up with part 2 of this video and complete the even problems. Same kind of process. I'm going to zoom in on number 2 here. Maybe. There we go. So let's identify the things I need to pay attention to. I have a negative, need to pay attention to it. I have a coefficient of 2, that is definitely something to pay attention to, and a plus 2 at the end of the function. So in my list of important stuff, I have amplitude 2, period. There's no coefficient here for x, so period's 2 pi. So that's going to be my initial part. I've got a phase shift, and in this case, nothing's being added or subtracted directly to x, so no phase shift or none. And my vertical shift, that plus 2 is going to shift the whole graph up 2 units. The only thing I haven't mentioned, that negative, is a reflection. So reflect over x-axis. All right, so let's go ahead and label the x-axis here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be 2 pi, pi over 2, and 3 pi over 2. Label the y-axis, amplitude of 2, and let's go negative 2. All right, so let's see if I can do the amplitude, period, and reflect over the x-axis all in one go. So cosine normally starts off-center high. In this case, because the reflection over the x-axis, we're going to start off-center low. So at negative 2, midline, maximum, midline, minimum. So there's my 5 points, my 5 critical values, and now every single one of those I am going to shift up, vertically shift it up 2 units. So this is going to move up 2, up 2, up 2, up 2, and up 2. So my cosine curve is going to look something like that. The last thing to finish here would be we've changed the maximum value to a 4. We've changed the minimum value to a 0. So please make sure you label those as well. All right, so that's problem number 2 all done. Let's go ahead and slide down to number 4 here. All right, so problem number 4, things I need to pay attention to. I need to pay attention to that 2. And I need to pay attention to the fact that I am subtracting 3 pi over 2 from x. So in my list of critical information, amplitude is 2, period. Now, x is not being multiplied by anything, so the period is 2 pi. We've got a phase shift in this case. We are subtracting something directly from x in the argument, so it's in the parentheses, to the cosine curve. So minus 3 pi over 2 is actually going to shift to the right 3 pi over 2 units. And I'll figure out how many actual spaces that is once I've labeled the x-axis. Vertical shift here, there is nothing being added or subtracted at the end. Or honestly, there's nothing being added to the function. It doesn't matter if it's at the end or the beginning. So that would be none here. Okay, so I'm going to label the x and y axes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that's going to be 2 pi, pi over 2, 3 pi over 2. Amplitude here, 2 and negative 2. All right, so that's labeled. I'm going to do just the original cosine curve, then I'll do the shift. So the original cosine curve would start off-center high, so at positive 2 my maximum, midline, minimum, midline, maximum. However, every single one of these little X marks the spots has to be shifted to the right 3 pi over 2 units. Now, in this case, 3 pi over 2 is 1, 2, it's 3 units away, it's 3 units to the right of the x-axis, so this is going to be 3 spaces. So we want to shift everything to the right 3 spaces. So I'm going to go ahead and, I don't know, do that in blue, I guess. So this point right here, I'm not going to move it up or down, but I'm going to shove it 1, 2, 3 units to the right. This one's going to move over 3 units to the right. 1, 2, 3. 3, and 3. Yep. Okay. So let me draw that curve in. So that's one cycle of the cosine curve there. Now we are missing some information along the x-axis. We've got our maximum and minimum labeled on the y-axis, but we need to continue the labels on the x-axis. So this is 1 over 2, 2 over 2, 3 over 2, 4 over 2. So this would be 5 pi over 2. 6 pi over 2 is really just 3 pi, and then this would be 7 pi over 2. You could absolutely just add 1/2 each time and use a calculator if you need to, or if you figured out, I just counted it out, starting with the fact that I had pi over 2 or 1 pi over 2. 2 over 2 would simplify to 1/2, and I just kept going up from there. All right, so that's problem number 4. Let's go ahead and slide on down to number 5 here. Number 6. Number 6 has a lot of stuff going on here. So let's start. We've got that negative sign. We've got a 4 here. We've got a plus pi over 2 here and a plus 3 here. So critical values, amplitude 4, period. There's nothing being multiplied times x, so this is going to be 2 pi. That's going to be my first set. Phase shift. Yes, there's a phase shift. It's plus pi over 2 here. So that's going to move me to the left, pi over 2 units. And then the vertical shift, the plus 3 at the end here, that's going to move up 3. One thing I need to mention is, of course, that negative sign. So that's going to be reflect over the x-axis. Okay, let's start by labeling the x-axis here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 pi, pi over 2, and 3 pi over 2. Label the y-axis 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, negative 4. Okay. So I'm going to do the original sine curve with the amplitude of 4, period of 2 pi, and a reflection over the x-axis. So that's going to start at 0. Reflection over the x-axis is going to move it down to the minimum, back to the midline, up to the maximum, back to the midline. Okay. So each one of these points, I need to vertically shift up 3 and to the left pi over 2. Now, pi over 2 on the x-axis is just one space. So that's going to be one space. All right, so every point is going to move left 1 up 3. I'll go orange, I guess. So left 1, 1, 2, 3. Left 1, 1, 2, 3. Left 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3. And left 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we play connect the dots. Smooth, continuous curve. There you go. All right, so that's the new sine curve that's been reflected. It's got a phase shift. We've got a vertical shift, an amplitude of 4. The only thing that we didn't change is the period on this one, but everything else did change. All right, folks, I know there's a lot of stuff going on with these problems. Please, 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 if you have questions, ask them so we can get you headed in the right direction at the start of this unit, not at the end. All right, let me know if you've got questions or concerns. Join Zoom, send me messages in Canvas if you need to.